Professionalization of security agencies in Africa is a mere dream. So let's look at the concept of professionalism of the army, police, security agencies in details. Some of the leaders in Africa, including the security leaders, they normally talk about professionalism, professionalization of the army, and how far have they gone towards its achievement. But to me, when I look at these agencies, I think we need to do something other than mere talks. Dreaming normally is good, but after dreaming, we need to wake up and act. Why am I saying this? If you may look at all these agencies in your countries, you can agree with me that there must be certain indicators to show that these institutions are working towards that loyalty, that desire of professionalism. You ask yourself the following. One, do these institutions have a strategic plan? A strategic plan that must define what is required, how to do it, when to do it, who is to do it, why do you have to do it? That's a strategic plan. A plan that can govern all these institutions. Let it be police, let it be intelligence services, let it be other forces like reserve force, like demobilized force, like this local defense force. Do we have a strategic plan, or we do it? We just do it for the sake. We just say it for the sake. That's dreaming. You can't get a clear strategic plan with all this in detail. A strategic plan that can define the training program, a strategic plan that can define the capacity building plan, a strategic plan that can define the demobilization program, a strategic plan that can define the reserve force, a strategic plan that can build a strong institutions of these agencies. That's a strategic plan. Do you have it? I doubt. A strategic plan that can define the ideology of the force. The strategic plan that can define the African agenda. A strategic plan that can define the administrative, the technical, and operational structures. Because these forces must have, if you are to build strong institutions, they must have structures. They must have the policy level, the leaders who makes policies for the institutions. We must have the technical level. We must have the operational level. In this case, the junior personnel. Do we have it? You check in your countries or ask your brothers and sisters in the force if they have it. In other countries, in these developed countries, these are clear. They have a clear strategic plan that defines the equipment to use, the organizational structure of the institutions. Organizational structure, that means in French is cadre organique, that defines the attributions of personnel, who is supposed to do what is he supposed to do, or she, what qualification. That's an organizational structure I'm talking about. Do we have it? Or we do it in a confusion that creates conflict of people, of officers, because they don't know what to do. Who is supposed to do this? At what time? What qualification someone must be having if he's going to be a policy among the policy makers? That's where the conflict is always coming from. Because these people who make policies in the army, in the police, they are not good managers. And these juniors, they know that you are not supposed to be there. But because you are somebody, known by somebody, then you are there. And therefore, you cannot even build that confidence. Because if you are to be a good security personnel, you must have confidence of yourself. If you are to build a brave fighter, you must be confident. Then where are you going to get confident when you were favored to occupy certain positions? That's number one. Look at this demobilization program. This demobilization program initially, it came as essential tool to clean the force in terms of age, the criteria you use, selecting who is supposed to be demobilized, the age, the discipline, the health fitness. But people have abused it. They have turned it to be used as a tool for punishment. If you conflict with your boss or your senior, then he must forward your name to be demobilized. And in most cases, these demobilized people are capable people, very clever people, very intellectual people, who can easily be professional personnel. But this is not the case in Africa. Rather, we deserve the weak ones and demobilize the strong ones. Then where do you expect professionalization to come from? Where? If you follow that formula. That's one. Number two, you need to think about integration. If you demobilize someone, you need to have the programs to integrate him or her in society. That's why we have so many cases in Africa about demobilized people. They go to communities, they can't fit there. Some turn to be robbers, some thieves, drunkardness, all sorts of crimes we meet in Africa are caused by that disorganized program. You demobilize someone or without exit strategy. Now, where do you expect that person to manage life if you can't initiate programs to integrate him or her in societies. That's not professionalism. Then number 4, look at the information, the intelligence information. Who is doing intelligence? Look at the capacity. Look at understanding. Look at the skills. Look at the data collected. Is it analyzed? Is it well captured? From which source? That's why in most cases we rely on rumors. And let me tell you, this is if intelligence information is captured by capable people, it could be very useful. It could be used by other organs of government, like parliament, like executive, like judiciary. They need such that information. But how is it? But from information, you get it from bars, from informers who are even not very analytical, who are not trained, who are not professional, and then we base ourselves on that irrelevant information. That's why we have so many cases. That's why we victimize some people. In Africa, it's very common. But the problem is the way these intelligence officers are recruited. They are recruited on who is who. Is a son of so and so. Is a daughter of so and so. Is a son of red fighter. All this. That's why you can't get reliable information, and that's why we get wrong results. Yes, so we need to correct this. Then look at initially look at the reserve force. This concept of reserve force came as an alternative of most of government, so that you can keep this force together temporarily. It must be temporary, because if someone is in a reserve force, that means he must have a certain period to get out for exit. Because if he is 50 years, after 60 years, why do you want him to stay or her to stay in the force? To do what? But in Africa, all the mobilized people are in reserve force. Can you imagine? Someone has been demobilized for drunkenness, for indiscipline, for health problems, but is in a reserve force. You see how unserious we are. Why do you want that indisciplined person in the force? To do what? A drunkard to do what? You just see how it sounds very funny. So you can't have professional reserve force in this case. So then look at the promotion, how it is done. Promotion in Africa, it is almost, you can't be promoted when you are not known by officers, by your bosses. But initially, promotion must be done, must have criteria, must be done professionally through appraisal of performance of officers, through evaluation. Then you grade. In other countries, even someone can know that in 10 years I will be a colonel or brigadier. But in Africa, it is contrary. That's why we have these generals. Oh, generals. By the way, generals is not by rank. Are you aware? To be a general, it entails a lot. For example, you must be ideologically clear. Two, it's the ideas you have in your head. Three, it is the chain of respect you have. Four, the Pan-African ideology, agenda. That's a general. Then plus the ranks. But in Africa, it's different. In the morning, you are just a private. Tomorrow, you are a general. We have so many cases. West Africa, East Africa, imagine Kabir. Even Kabir is a general. Are you aware? That ex-president. I will always talk about you because you did nothing for that country. Nothing. He's general. All these are generals. Even Idi Amin was a field marshal. So those are we don't have shortage of such a people in Africa. But in other countries, you can know that within 15 years I will be a general or a colonel or if other factors are put into consideration or remain constant. For example, discipline, for example, trainings you attend, for example, experience you have, for example, appointments then you can be promoted. You can say, in 10 years, I'm going to be a brigadier. But in Africa, different. Then look at the trainings, how we organize our trainings. Basically, trainings are supposed to have a plan. You know that you have programs for personnel to attend. Then after training, they must come back and train others. Training of trainers as a strategy. But how is it done in Africa? In Africa, people who attend those courses outside in these international professional training centers, they are those who are known. Who is a son of so and so, must go to Sandhurst, must go to Abidjan, must go to Kenya, must go to Munduri, but others, those who are even capable, they are not given an opportunity. And those who go attend courses, when they come back, they are under presidential brigade. Check in your countries, you tell me. That's why you find presidential brigades in Africa are full of elites, intellectual people, different from other from other officers, professionally, skillful, very clear. Why? Because of the training they pass through. And why? Because they are known by the bosses, by the officers, top officers. That's the truth. You just check. Three, they are motivated. They are paid nicely compared to other officers. If we want to build professionalism in the army, all the personnel must have equal benefits, because you need to build a teamwork that can fight wars and win. That's how these Americans, these institutions like NATO, like what, that's why they are so successful in such a battles. That's the truth. But talking about professionalism in Africa, I don't think we are even near We are very far. So it's high time we start thinking differently in terms of the way we organize, the way we plan, the way we implement, the way we equip our force. Then you look at the equipment. You can't talk of professionalism without talking of equipment. They need to have equipment to use, communication. Yes, the arms. If you train somebody without and spend a lot of money on certain officers, but they come back and they use the local equipment, then what are you doing? It can't help. That's wastage of resources. So you must have a strategy that defines the whole cycle if we are to achieve professionalization of the army. Then we check about that intelligence. Additionally, we need to cross-check ourselves. Really, in Africa, which intelligence do we have? FBI is all over, in all circles of African security agencies. You find it in police, you find it in ISO, in ESO. They are there. What are they doing? If they are trainers, okay, does it mean they need to know everything? No. Why can't we resort to sending our officers in the academy outside? They go there, get training, get the skills, come back and train others without bringing the instructors from outside. To do what? We need to send our officers as instructors. They learn, they come back, they train others. So another thing is monitoring. If you want to do to professionalize your forces, you need to monitor and evaluate. Sometimes I wonder when I look at soldiers in up country, those barracks is outside, like Hang, 14th Battalion. You find people drinking in the in bars in uniform, in moreover uniform which is torn and they no longer even put on shoes. You wonder, are they monitored? For me, I'm Uganda. I normally meet them at the hangar barrack. They are no longer soldiers. From morning to evening in bars, fighting. Are they monitored? Are they evaluated? Are they controlled? Do they have leaders there? Even in other countries, that's how it is done. The army who are organized, you will find them in presidential guard, sometimes in first battalion, but the rest don't don't ask me. It's a different story. So you can't talk of professionalization in isolation of monitoring and evaluation. You need to monitor and evaluate either quarterly or annually in terms of performance which gives you the results. The results. And it must be it must done by a professional person without favor, without other considerations. Then you will professionalize your agencies. Then you look at appointments. How we appoint our officers. Our officers are appointed based on other factors other than merit. What they are either in terms of qualification, either in terms of experience, either in terms of, of understanding. We just appoint them according to our interests. We leaders, we policy makers, not because of their capacity. No, because we want we want something out of them. Then the cliques in the army. You find CDF, he has this clique, IGP has this clique. There is no trust among themselves. Everybody is creating a clique, a group of cadres, of officers, a clique of ISO. And what is funny in intelligence, if you don't have information, you lie. A lie is acceptable because you need to report every day. Please, that's the information we base ourselves. Lies. I'm not a soldier, but I know in intelligence, if you don't have information, you must lie. If your boss asks you something, you must tell him something in the evening. But that's not reliable. That's not the real information. But it is right to lie in intelligence. And that's the information we normally base ourselves. And at the end of the day, we are wrong. So we need to cross-check all this if we are to professionalize our forces. Thank you very much.